What's up everybody, it's Drew Wilkins with Swine and Bovine Barbecue, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make some easy homemade sausage. Let's get going. What we have here is some rib and some brisket trim. So if you see my rib videos, if you see my brisket videos, I always preach saving your trim, and it goes really handy for making some sausage. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure out exactly 5 pounds. This is going to be a 5-pound batch of sausage. So it's 2,268 grams for those of you who go by the metric system, which I do when making sausage. It makes it so much easier to measure out your spices. But we're just going to add this up until we get to 2,268 grams. 1,050 grams of rib. Now we're going to add some brisket. We ended up with 2,276 grams of meat. A nice pork and beef blend sausage, a little more beef than pork. Use whatever mixture you want. This is what I had on hand. That's why it's an easy sausage. We're using what we got. We've had our grinder parts in the freezer for the last several hours. It's ice cold. This meat is super cold. Some of the brisket is a little frozen-ish, not super frozen, will hamper its ability to grind, but pretty cold. So we're gonna add this into our hopper here and grind it up. And one piece of advice is when you're trimming your briskets or your spare ribs, cut the pieces up so they fit in your grinder. I've got a fairly large 1 horsepower grinder, so it's got a big chute. But if you've got a smaller one, cut them up smaller. That way you can just take them out of the bag like I did, pat them dry if need be, and then grind them. You don't have to do any cutting, anything day of. There's already enough steps in sausage making. Turn this on, grind away. That didn't take any time at all. This thing chews through some meat. So I'm gonna put this meat in the freezer, that way it stays super cold. I always like to rinse anything that touches ground meat out immediately. This stuff almost turns to cement if you leave it too long. So I'm gonna put this in the freezer, we'll rinse that out, and then we'll season our meat. Time to season our sausage, and one of the main reasons this is an easy sausage is because we're hitting the easy button. Chuds Barbecue Nice and Plump Sausage Starter Mix. I learned how to make sausage from Brad's channel over at Chuds Barbecue. So a lot of the spices and seasonings and blends and ratios I've developed have really been derived from his original pork recipe sausage, which I'll link here. It's the first sausage I ever tried. Fell in love with sausage making, and that's why we're doing this here today. So we're gonna go in with this. It's perfect for a 5-pound batch. That's got all your base spices, your milk powder, really everything you need to make a good sausage. I just prefer a few extra things in all the sausage I make. And first, and most importantly, since we're gonna cold smoke this, is around 6 grams of pink curing salt. And I love the pop that mustard seeds give, so we're gonna go in with some mustard seeds. I'll have the exact amount of the stuff I'm using in the description. Love black pepper in it too, so we're gonna hit it with some more black pepper. You know me, I love some spice. Crushed red pepper's going in too. So now we're gonna get this all mixed in, just lightly at this point. And this is usually around the time I cuss myself for not using a bigger mixing vessel. Got the spice a little more incorporated. We're gonna go into our liquid component, which is just cold water. Now we're gonna mix till our forearms sore, and this is nice and tacky. Our meat is nice and tacky. It's holding together well. Doesn't wanna fall out of your hands too easy if you pick it up and squish it on it. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now we're gonna load it into the hopper. Sure and smash it down, punch it down in when you're putting it in the hopper, where you want to avoid any air pockets. So now we want to get our horn nice and wet so the casing glides off super easily. And go ahead and make your comments. I'm going to get the tip of your casing. These casings have been in water for a while. Ran water through them to get all the salt out. They're packed in salt. Run water through it and then slide them on. And this is a smaller horn than I typically use. These are supposed to be like 28 to 32 millimeter casings, but they're a little smaller than that. So the horn that's one size bigger than this, been having some trouble getting it off. So we're going with a small horn today. Get our meat to where it's just coming out. There we go. Tie off this tip. I always leave a pretty long tail because if I get it short, for some reason, it always unravels. So sticking with the quick and easy, we're gonna make just a long roll of sausage and link after it's filled. Usually I do an individual link each time. You know, I'm not making a 20-30 pound batch, and it's just pretty easy that way. But I've done this once before and had decent success with it, so I just want to try it again. And it takes less time to fill up one thing and do some links versus doing the links individually. So we'll see how it goes. I'm leaving more slack, so these aren't as tight as they traditionally would be. We've got some air pockets, so I'm already not doing a great job. I've got a sausage picker and we'll take care of those. But just trying to put a decent amount of meat in without overstuffing it. That way when we link it, it does not pop. Our sausage is cased. We don't have links yet, but did a very poor job avoiding air pockets in the beginning. So I've got a sausage pricker. So anywhere there's air pockets, we're gonna go in and prick it. And hopefully that will help us avoid pockets in our finished product. To case these, just gonna go about a 6-inch link, pinch, then about another 6-inch link, and twist. And do that until we get some tight links. So again, it's about 6 inches pinch. Come over here, pinch, and twist until they're nice and tight. And that's why we left that space when we were originally creating the sausages, so we could create tight links with the twist. Way they don't pop, because you'll feel them get super, super tight the more you twist. If they get too tight, obviously they'll pop. Now we'll snip the tip on this first one. And outside of some pretty inconsistent sausage link sizing on my part, I mean, look at this one, and then look at this one. Big difference. But that's all right. Maybe not everybody wants a big sausage. So they look pretty good. They're pretty tight. You can still see some air pockets. So now that I've got them filled up, I'm going to go through and pop them again. That way the casing will just secure to the meat. You know, and that will help eliminate air pockets, and you don't really lose any grease or anything when cooking them doing them this way, at least in my experience. So we'll just find these air pockets, give them a prick. All right, so we've got what I think are all the air pockets popped. Sausages are feeling pretty firm, pretty happy with it. Definitely a lot more air pockets than I was expecting. I need to work on my casing and really probably need to get some bigger casings, because one, these sausages look kind of small, and two, it's a pain going through that smaller horn on the sausage stuffer. Took a lot more torque. I don't have a clamp to keep it on the table, so if I had one of those, it would have been a little easier, but it was definitely harder to get the meat to come out. Nonetheless, these are gonna go in the fridge overnight like this. Let that cure do its work, that we've got some nice cured meat for our cold smoke tomorrow, and let these casings dry out. That way that smoke adheres to it really, really well. But for now, they're going in the fridge. We'll see you tomorrow. It is the following day, and our sausages have dried out and cured nicely in the fridge overnight. So we're gonna go in between each link and just snap them into individual links. Our pit is fired up. It's nice and smoky. We have one dense log over just a little bit of charcoal. That way we're not producing much heat, but a lot of smoke, as you can see. Let's get our links on. I love using these wire racks. It makes it easy to get your sausage on and off, and it keeps them a lot cleaner. You want to make sure that nothing is touching as well. Otherwise it won't get the smoke and color that we're looking for. Our links are on. Now it's time to let them have a smoke bath for the next probably 3 hours at least on this side, really until we get the color and smoke that we want on them, and this casing is nice and completely dried out at that point. But we'll keep our eye on it. Again, we want to keep the temperature anywhere between 100 and 150 degrees. Anything over 150, we're going to start rendering some fat, and we do not want to do that. So we'll keep it below 150. Ideally, it'd be great if we could keep it at 125, but it's an inexact science, so we're just going to go with the flow. We are 3.5 hours in, and our links are getting some fantastic color. So we're gonna flip these because as you can see, the other side, not near the same color. So we're gonna let that get some color and some smoke on it, and then we'll let them continue to cook. All right, shutting it back down, gonna let them cold smoke. A little over 2 hours after we flipped, and our sausages are looking fantastic. Got some great color. So we're gonna pop them in an ice bath. This ice bath will stop the cooking process. It'll shrink the casings up to the meat. That way we get a great snap. We're gonna get all these cooled off. Then we're gonna fire the pit up to 250 to 75 degrees. Once these are fully cooled off and done cooking, we'll put a few on, finish them off on the pit. Usually takes anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes to get them up to about 155, 160 degrees. We'll pull them, rest them, and dig in. For now, I'm getting these off the pit. Our sausage is off the pit, and man, it looks fantastic. Has great color, nice, red, shiny. It's certainly plump, got a good bounce to it. Man, I'm excited for this one. Our sausage has cooled down and it's looking fantastic. Still super firm and plump. Nice, great, deep red color on it. Everything I want when looking at a sausage. So let's slice into it, see how we did. Set these over there. Then let's just make a couple of slices. Great bind. Got those yellow mustard seeds. It's looking great. Let's see how it tastes. All right, this is one of the easiest sausages I've ever made. Let's see how it tastes. Cheers. That is incredibly good. It's a simpler sausage, right? The most exotic thing we really have in there is mustard seeds, and that's not uncommon to find in sausages. But that Chuds pre-made sausage mix is really, really good. Don't sleep on it. Use it, add the additives you want in order to get the sausage you want. Add cheese, add jalapenos, add habaneros, add pepper jack, whatever you want. But it's an incredible base to make an incredible sausage. It's got a great flavor. I love the mixture of pork and beef better than I like one on their own. Now, granted, an all beef Texas hot link is hard to beat, but you've got spare rib trim and you got some brisket, throw them together. I do think that there's definitely a little bit of the better together when you add pork and beef as opposed to having one on their own. But this is so good. See how it snaps. It snaps. It's really good, really clean. It's not overpowering. Sometimes you eat sausage and you feel like you're gonna burp it for the rest of the day or even the next morning. This doesn't give me any of those characteristics, but it doesn't leave me lacking for any flavor. The crushed red pepper added a nice bit of heat for this. So if you like heat, add some crushed red pepper. If you don't like crushed red pepper, add cayenne. But really, this was super easy. One of the easiest sausages I've ever made. I am more than impressed with this nice and plump sausage starter kit. I don't see a reason why it's not going to be the base for pretty much all of my sausages moving forward. It saves a lot of time. Sausage can have a lot of steps, and really it's one of my favorite things to cook. Outside of dishes, it's pretty relaxing. Nothing is overly stressful. You kind of know how long the cold smoke's going to go. You know how long it's going to take to bring it up to temp. After you put it in the ice bath, you can vac seal them, throw them in the freezer, pull them out, let them thaw and have them ready to go and cooked within the same day. They're really, really a fun thing to make, and you can get super creative. But you always need that base of flavors, and I think that that starter kit absolutely nails it. Definitely gonna devour some of this off camera. But thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you wanna see more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. And if you have any comments on what type of sausage you'd like to see me make next, or anything differently I could have done with this one, please leave it in the comment section below. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.